beginning of this this game, whatever we want to call it, right? Can be river ride or mail pilot. We have the plane that can be moved with arrows and with A and D, right? Going sideways. We have the ocean moving. I see that I opened the wrong version because I don't see my islands. So let me download this from Blackboard. Right, week 2, we have the lab project. Okay, and I will open it in Unity where we are. Open project. Remember what I said about messed up materials, everything pink? That's what I have right now. So let me fix it quickly. We need sprites default to be set for everything. Okay. And ship. Okay, let me check my prefabs. They're okay, they're not. So I will fix them as well. And let's see our game. We have islands that are popping up here and there. Where is our ship? I think the ship is too far. Let's see. Oh, it's hiding because the order layer is 0. Now we see our ship. Right, so that's our starting point. What we want to do now, what we want to do today, we want to add collisions, right? So we want our plane to react somehow to the event when it's colliding with the ship or going over the island. And you can hear right now that we'll have 2 types of colliders used, right? So let's start with the island. We don't want our plane to crash with the island. We want the plane to go over the island. What kind of collider that would be? Sorry? But I want to know that it's going over the island. So I need to have a collider, but a specific type. It's a trigger, right? So I want to add collider 2D. And now the question is, which one should I choose? The island has pretty irregular shape, right? So box may not be the best one. Probably I would use the polygon, right? If I add the polygon collider, oops, that's not the island. I should do it actually with the prefab, and this way we'll add it to all islands at the same time, right? So I'm going to prefabs, I'm selecting the island, and I want to add component that is the polygon collider. And the fastest way to find it is just to start typing the name in the search bar that you have when you click on the add component. If you don't do that, you have to go to Physics 2D and then select from the list, right? Polygon collider. We should have it added to all islands. And if we select island from our hierarchy window, you see that there is a collider. It's almost the shape is almost right. You can adjust it if you want, right? If you want to adjust the shape of the collider, you have to click on Edit and then play with those edges, make it closer, make it farther, depending on what you want. But really, that's not the most important part in this game. Those islands are fairly small, right? So the shape of the collider doesn't really matter that much. So.
Physics. Go to add components. Did you put on the island? Is it stuck? Oh, wait, no, it's not. Yeah, then it's not.
Just add collider to one of your islands. Okay, so we have our island, and island has a collider. How do we make it trigger? We have to select, again, best to do it on the prefab, because you want to apply the same settings to all islands that you create, right? And you have to check this checkbox is trigger. That's one thing. Another thing, we want to distinguish things, right? We want to be able in our scripts to detect, do I collide with island? Do I collide with the ship? Do I collide? Maybe we'll add more elements later to our game. So I want to tag different elements. And if you check the inspector view, you will see that right below the name, you have tag. You can either select something from the list, or you can add a new tag. I will add new tag plus, and my new tag, same as the name of the game object. You hit enter. You go back to the prefabs, select the prefab again, and you can select now your island, your new tag from the list. Not the best interface, right? It should go back right away where we used to be, but you have to select it manually, right? Now, every island in my game will have this tag, and we'll use it in our script. Now, we want to detect this, right? But what did we say during the lecture? We said that if we want to be able to detect any collisions, at least one element that is taking part in the collision needs to have a rigid body. We'll have a rigid body in our game. Plane, right? Makes more sense. So let's select plane. Double click on the plane. Let's add missing components. We have to add rigid body 2D, and we have to add the collider. Add physics 2D, rigid body 2D. And let's stop here for a minute. If I leave it like that, I've added a rigid body. What happens with my plane? Exactly, right? If I play, bye-bye, right? Not there anymore. And remember what we were talking about when we were talking about moving a physical object. How do we move plane? We are not using force, right? We are using transform. So we want our plane to be kinematic, right? We are not using forces. We are not using gravity. The only reason we have rigid body here, the only reason we are using colliders is because we want to detect collisions, right? So we want to turn off the whole machinery that is involved in calculations of the force, right? So make sure that your plane is kinematic. And the second component that we have to add to our plane is collider. And again, the polygon collider will be the best one. This shape is not amazing because it also covers the shade, right? So we want to edit this, make it closer to the plane. Let's fix it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it would be nice to have some shape that the shape of the plane, right? Something like that. And now it will be a good time to add a script. We'll add script to the plane. So I'm going to scripts, and I will create a new script, new C# script, and this script will be called plane collisions or plane collider. Let's open script in mono. That's my script. And before we move forward, just so we don't forget, we'll attach this script to the plane. Okay, so let's take the script and let's attach it to the plane. So your plane should have two scripts, plane controller and plane collider. one thing that I didn't show you before, you can reorganize this inspector view. So if you click on the gear that is in the corner, the small thing where you also have option to remove component, you can move it up and down. So for example, you can group your scripts so they're not all over the place, but you can group them together, right? This way it's easier to find the properties. So I will move my script down. And this way I have plane controller and plane collider together next to each other. Not a big deal, but it helps when it comes to quick changes later on. And another thing that I mentioned during the lecture, when we are using physics, we should synchronize our updates with physics calculations, right? So we have to do a small edit in our plane controller before we start doing anything else. Let's jump into plane controller and let's change the name of update function. We need to use function that is called fixed update. Everything else stays the same. We're just moving our stuff to different functions, basically changing the name, right? We're overriding different function from mono behavior. Fixed update is executed not per frame, but per tick. Let's save this. And now we can start playing with the script plane collider. Start and update will stay the same. I mean, we can remove them. We won't use them right now. Do you remember which function will be used if we want to detect the situation when we enter the trigger? Void, right? On trigger enter to B. And what is the parameter? Exactly. It is collider 2D, right? Because we are working with the 2D objects. Collider 2D. Collider 2D is a reference to the other object, right? To the other collider that is involved in this collision. The thing that you may want to do is checking who is on the other side. How you can do it? You can check if other dot game object dot tag is equal to island. If it is equal to island, well, we'll have to do something. Right now, what we'll do, we'll use debug and we'll print the information to the console. Right? So let's use class debug.log. This is not an error, right? This is just information for us, the debug information. Collision with island. that will be a good place to test. We have our scripts attached. We did some modifications. Let's run our game. And let's test. I will turn off the maximize on play so we can see other elements. And I will show you the console. You see that every island that we are colliding with is reported. But the ship is not triggering anything. It's not reporting anything, right? So our code is working. It's not working. You're saying no. Okay. Make sure that you have colliders added both to the plane and to the island. Second, make sure that you have a rigid body added to your plane. Third step, make sure that your script, the collider script, is attached to the plane. Okay, that will be your starting point. I will give you a few minutes to catch up, and I will switch to the mono behavior just to show you the script.
What? Oh, my
I might have had my mistake.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I go off. Oh, I can't. No, yeah, I did. You know, you didn't say.
The motto, it's capitalized.
No.
One important thing. Capitalization. The name of the function starts with a capital O. If you start with a small one, it won't work. Unity won't tell you that there is a problem. For Unity, it will be just a new function with a new name. Make sure that the spelling is correct. Make sure that the capitalization is exactly the same. Same thing with tag. The spelling and the capitalization of your tag. So when I select island, this tag has to be spelled exactly the same here. If there will be a difference, it won't work, right? Because it's a different tag. Make sure that this is correct. This is very common error. Spelling this with small o and things like that.
It looks correct. Show me island. Island. Show me plane.
So good.
You had a different script. You had a different Just okay. Let's go through the project.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, it's not fun?
Drag and drop from the plane there. Click on the plane first. Yeah. Okay. Open the script. There is something wrong with the script.
Oh, maybe because I have two.
Scroll down.
Yeah, I know. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe it's also
Oh, man. I renamed it. I told you not to.
yeah, see, jeez, you hit it. Thank you. Yeah, it didn't work. Wait, lane lighter. Is it small? No, it's a big one.
Oh, well, definitely. Okay, baby.
But it doesn't matter. Doesn't work.
Yes.
I was going to ask you.
I have,
That's enough.
it's basically, it's not right clicking anything live, it's not showing up on the console. I put it in small.
I can see it. Yeah. I'm going to fall asleep. I'm going to fall asleep.
It's just.
And usually all the errors that I mentioned. Now we'll save everything.
Because I just maybe because I don't have a list. So, like, I don't have anywhere like that just trace it. Maybe it does this, but I just can't see it.
That's what I hope.
Yeah, I have to ask him where it is. Where can we get a log to do that log? Because
You should have a console window. If not, you can window. And so
what's all?
you can block it somewhere. Small tab.
Oh, okay. I have a green. No, it does not.
Okay, let's check this one.
It doesn't.
Show me island first. Capital I, go to the script. Validation of the names should start.
Oh, that's what you were mentioning at the time. I remember.
I know how it works, but you seem to try the error first.
I'm trying. Can you do it? Yeah. Yeah. Add dog. We're just, oh. Can I see yours? Do you have it? No, oh, you need it?
You should yell from the back rows that you cannot see. make it bigger? No, that's the maximum I can get. But what I can do this. I know, it's not the newest one. We have on trigger enter 2D, the function name. The parameter is collider 2D. And the name of the parameter is other. In the function, we check if other game object tag is equal to island. And this is the tag that we set for all islands in our game. And if it happens, then we log the information that the collision happened, right? Okay, so now let's do the same thing with the ship. But with the ship, I don't want to have the trigger. I want to have a collider. Because what I will do on collision with the ship, I will destroy the ship. Okay? So let's select our ship. Let's add new collider, right? Physics 2D polygon collider. Again, the ship is kind of a complex shape. If you check, looks funny right now. And so it's okay, right? The collider is fairly complex, but it's fine. We could use box collider for this one. It's fairly flat on the bottom, and that's the side where the collision will happen, right? So you can use either of them. We should also add a new tag, right? Because we want to distinguish islands from ships. So we'll add new tag. Well, let's say enemy. But we should have two tags, right? We've added island, and now for the ship, I will call it enemy, because that's what it is in my game. Let's go to ship, and let's add the tag. So I'm done with this part. Now I have to modify, sorry, I have to modify the plane collider, right? So I'm going back to my script. And because this time I will be using different type of interaction, right? I'm not going into the trigger, I'm going into a collision. I have to add new function. Void on collision enter 2D. And the parameter to this function will be also different because it will be collision 2D. The start will be the same, because again, we'll be checking if other game object tag is equal to the tag that we are looking for, which is enemy. I said that I want to destroy the ship, right? So I could do this, destroy other game object. But then, do you remember what we do with the ship? It goes back and forth, right? We recycle the ship, right? So that would take away the ship forever, right? You can try it. See what happens. Nothing happens for whatever reason. Let's see, where is the problem? No, it shouldn't be a trigger because we want to use this function. Did I misspell it?
I know. I don't know. Oh, how was that?
Enemy. Let's see in a debug log if anything is reported. Okay, our ship is not colliding with us the way we want it to collide. We have a polygon collider here. We have a polygon collider and a rigid body here. I know. How do we move the ship? We move it the same way we move the plane, right? With transform. We want to use physics. We have to change to fixed update. That may be a reason. And we actually should do the same thing for our island just to be on the safe side. Fixed update. Let's see now. No. Am I missing a rigid body here? Kinematic. Still nothing. Okay, let's think. Something is wrong because in our plane collider, we're not getting any response. On. collision enter 2D. That's the function that we should use. Yeah, let's quickly do an experiment. What happens if we change the trigger? If it will see the collision. Else collision with ship. Okay, if it's a trigger, it's working. But it doesn't detect the regular collisions. Okay, what I wanted to show you is this. I will figure it out with why the collision is not working later. Let's move forward. I told you that we could use destroy function and say other game object, right? That was the code that we had. What happens then? The ship is gone forever. Bomb, no ship, right? What else I could do? I could call the reset function for the ship, right? Let's see the ship controller. I have the reset function, but the reset function is private. So I won't be able to access it. Let's change it to public. I'm in the ship controller. I want to change the reset function to public. I want to access this function. How do I do that? In the plane collider, when I see that I have a ship on the other end, right? Well, to be fully, I should do this, else if other game object tag equals to enemy. I know I'm colliding with the ship. Now I can get the ship controller and I can ask the other game object to get the component that is a ship controller. Break the line so you see the code. I should check if SP is not null. Because if this script is not attached to my game object, to the other game object, it will return null. But if it's not null, then I can say SP reset. And I don't want to destroy the object. That's why I commented it out. What I'm doing, I'm asking the other object, right? The other game object that I'm colliding with. Give me the reference to the script that you have. The script is called ship controller. Right? I know I can take this component because I just checked, okay, your tag is a ship. You're saying that you're a ship, your enemy. Give me the reference to the controller. And the controller has a function reset. I just made it public. Right? So I'm calling the function. Instead of destroying the object, I would have to recreate and position it and so on. It takes time. I'm just saying reset. Right? So I'm doing exactly the same thing that I would do when the ship is going out of my sight. Let's test. I hear that you're still typing, so I will give you a few minutes, and then we'll test this solution. what you should see in your console is collision with island, collision with ship, depending on which one you're colliding with. And then when you're colliding with a ship, ship should disappear and then reappear on one or the other side of the screen. Okay, can I test? I will switch to Unity. I will hit play. Still disappearing. Did I save my code? I think I didn't. Yeah. It works. If you remember to save your code, it works.
Did you make it public?
Yeah. Oh, that's what's supposed to be. Oh, so when I did it, last color, yeah. You know what? I can it's not my code. It's not.
Did you change?
You're on the same place.
That's what I did. For some reason. Okay, you're in the right place.
Got that version to reset.
That's good. Check the spelling of the cards. I just made I'll go back to the ship. I can't get it. So you're providing either wrong email or wrong password. I don't know if it's your password. You can click.
Yeah. That's shit. It's my business.
Yes, I know.
Is it true?
With one password.
I opened
Can I see your journal? I just want to see which stuff was it.
that's why because
Don't you have more now?
no,
Ready? Works?
Yeah.
Good. Sorry. The trigger?
Can you see your tablets? I just want to see your
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember that the reset has shift controller has to be public, otherwise you won't be able to use it.
I have water too. There's like
I should have said it. Too much.
Now, one from the beginning, right? I took out the display. Now I installed it. For now, it doesn't polite. Make sit for our instance. And if I can destroy it, they go to security.
It's chapter 4.
I put this one
Okay, so it's an hour. No, I just let him do it already.
I can do it already. Just like that. If I don't have to do, or honestly do something different. We're calling this another number. Did you lose it? Of creating like by number, right? It's just what we're generating and it gets funny.
Yeah, you was not going to show him.
Yeah. So if I can do this on
Okay, what else do you want to do with this? You have collisions, right? So you can detect I'm flying over the island, I'm colliding with the ship. What we can do, remember the simple animation that I showed you with the explosion? let's use it. We'll talk about animations. We'll talk about animations during separate lecture, separate lab. But I can show you quickly how you can add this kind of animation to your project. So we'll have to go to Blackboard. We have this animation, I think, in week 1, if I'm not mistaken. Is it in assets? No, sorry, I will have to give it to you. It will be in one of my projects from the lab. Or what you can do, even better, let's do a learning experience. Let's go to Window, Asset Store. And let's find some 2D explosion. 2D explosion. We want free stuff. "2D flat explosion." This one looks good. You can pick whatever you feel like. So flat explosion. Download. Import. You see that there is a prefab. There is explosion PNG, which is a texture with images. There is animation created and even animation controller. So we don't have to do it ourselves step by step. We'll do other animations later. In your project, after those steps in your project, you should see a new folder created, Toon Explosion, and you have a prefab there. You see the prefabs in Toon Explosions? That's my explosion that I want to use. What I will do the following steps. If you have a prefab, do you have it downloaded? Can we move forward? No? Okay. Let's wait. What you can see? Asset store or the explosions? Okay. Got it? Download, import. It doesn't let me. Scroll down.
Yeah, it's done something bottom.
No. What the hell? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ah, jeez. Why can't I download it?
Go down.
When it loads completely on top.
Ah. Because I can't download it. I don't know what's moving. It says free. No, it wasn't out. It's mixed.
It's going to get stuck in there.
It's mixed. Oh, I didn't bring the plate. Hey, you like one?
Not really.
You still eat them?
Yeah. There you go.
But you keep the plate.
Well, provided by.
I did.
Hey, you're with me? Do you have those explosions?
I said it. I don't even have it down.
Because it tells you that you have to
Where?
upgrade.
Oh,
What you can do, you can go back and select the one. Yes. This one. Yes, some prefabs as well, so the steps will be the same.
okay.
Probably don't look good, literally, maybe
Oh, it's
dark,
fine. I just
because we don't
wanted
have
to-
any light, but it should work fine.
Thank you.
Okay, if you have prefabs, you downloaded the package, you have prefabs. What we have to do, first we have to tell the script what is the prefab that we want to use. I will show you how you can instantiate object from the prefab. So I'm going to the script. Sorry. I'm going to the script, to the plane collider. Because what I want to do, I want to instantiate the explosion the moment I collide with the ship, right? So here, I will say that I want to show explosion. How can I do that? First, I need this prefab that I want to instantiate. So I need to expose a variable, right? Serialize field, game object, that's the type of the variable, explosion. By default, it will be equal to null. And now I will use this explosion in my function here. Game object E equals instantiate, that's the function, explosion. Where what is the position of this explosion? Where the other guy was, right? So actually we should do it before we reset the position. I will move this code in a minute. So we'll say other dot game object dot transform dot position. This all should happen before we reset. So you will see the ship, you will see the explosion, and then the ship will disappear. Now we'll see if the explosion is done correctly, because explosion should actually self-destroy after playing the animation. We'll see if it happens. Or we'll have a ship that is blowing all the time, right? Okay, so we have this. We have the parameter added to the script, and second, we are using this parameter to instantiate the object. Now, what do we instantiate? We have to go back to Unity, select our ship. Sorry, the plane, not ship, plane. And you will see that the plane has a new parameter on the bottom called explosion. You have to select the prefab that you want to play, the prefab that you want to instantiate. In my case, it's called explosion. You can drag and drop, or you can click on this circle on right-hand side and select from the window. Let's test. Okay, so explosion do not self-destroy. As you can see, we have more and more. Let's fix this. Let's fix it. I think we should have an animation here. We'll have to add a script to our animation, and we'll have to modify the animation. Let's do it this way. We have half an hour. I will show you how to do it, but this is extra. We'll talk about those steps again, right? This is just for cleaning up this part, right? So let's add a new script to our Toon explosion. Create C# script explosion controller. This script will have only one function: public void end. And what it will do, it will call destroy game object. That's that. What I will do with this script, you don't even need update and start. You can remove those functions. I will attach this script to my prefab, to the explosion prefab. So I have to select the prefab, then go back to where my scripts are and add it here. Now I want to go to animations, and I want to open animation, the animator, this one. Oh, sorry, no. I want to open animation. Window, animation. And the easiest way to edit this will be by adding the prefab to the scene for a minute. Because now we can edit the animation. So what I did, I added the prefab to the scene. We have this big blast in the middle of my screen. And I went to Window, and I selected Animation window. I want to be able to edit the animation. And I will take it out just to show you how it looks. Each of those here are parameters that are changed during the animation. Each of those diamonds here on the timeline are key points where you set different values. So you set the starting point and you set how it changes at certain point. And what the animator is doing, it is modifying it in the meantime, right? But what you can do at the end, you can add here, come on, where is it? You can add animation events. So if you right click on this bar right below the timeline, you can add animation event, and you should be able to select function if the script is attached to the object. I'm sorry, I didn't attach it to the object. So let's do it. The script that we created, needs to be attached to the animator object. And now we should be able to add this key event, edit animation event, and we have function end. Yeah. So I start from getting the prefab and adding it to the scene, right? Then I select the prefab from the scene. I select the explosion animator, which is inside the game object. And I add my script that I created, the explosion script, to this object, to explosion animator. Not to the top one, called explosion, but to the object that is inside. Then I go to Window and I open animation. You can press Ctrl and 6. Should open this one. Next, I right click on the bar on the top, right below the ruler with time units. Right click, and I select Add Animation Event. It should open this window, and you should be able to select End function that we added to the script before. You can close this one, you can close the animation. You can update the prefab, just drag and drop it back, because you want to make sure that the animation controller has the prefab and all the animations are updated. Or you can make sure you can achieve the same thing doing the following. You can open, where is it? Prefab, and you can add components to this internal object, right? Add script explosion controller, right? We'll do the same thing. And I will help you in a minute with all those steps. Just make sure that plane knows about the prefab that we want to use. And right now it should work the way we want it to work. The explosions go away, right? They disappear after they finish playing.
So, do you have the script?
Yes, right there.
Did you try your prefabs? Do they play all the time? Or they play and they disappear?
I don't know how to do it.
Okay. So let's go to C, let's select playing. Somewhere there. Select you got them everywhere? Okay. Those are your explosions.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I know, it's fingerprints. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's animation. Yeah.
So you selected two?
Yeah. Because they had that here. Yeah, I can't see which one is which. That's why I selected that one.
Yeah. Well, what you can do always that.
It's fine.
But you need this more animations that shows you get added
Yeah.
saying that you should destroy after playing, right? What you can try to do is because they're using vertical.
I can't see a ship. This is
They're working at the top. You have to be animation. That's why it is not sorry? You will have the same issue with the animations. You want to work with the version of Unity that you have. Will allow you to open the project. But I can do something else. First, if you have all Unity version, you should update. I know that you have a problem with yours because you have the same problem. We're using different set of assets, and it doesn't work with the way that ours work. What I will do for you, I will create simpler animation and replace it in this project. Right, so you will see it in your versions. Right, this way we'll all have the same starting point next week. So I will post a project that is updated with not with the animation from the asset store, but with a simple animation of explosion that I will create for you. Right? Yeah. What's wrong with this? What's up?
Yeah, for some reason when I'm show up when our next
They do your system, link it to.
Yeah, for some reason when I open the C# script, it'll always open it in video application. How do I open two files?
Then go to sorry, edit. Edit
Just runs all the time now.
Okay. Let me show you. Now first. Doesn't, right? Let's save this one. This one has the script attached. Another here. Make sure this is well,
I actually need help with the license there that I recorded. Some of them don't work, maybe I'm not using it right way.
you never did this one.
Maybe it's
Let's check it.
I know, but I want to say.
No.
Come on. You're not. No, I'm from You have to. Why do you have the exclusion support?
Newer than yours. Okay. What we'll do next time, we'll play with sound.
and we'll play with building user interface. So we'll add some information on top of the view that we have right now, where we can display points, lives, things like that, right? And we'll give an ability to the user to restart the game, right? So that's the goal for the next time. As I said, I will post updated project on Blackboard with a simplified animation, and you will see that. Also, the lab is recorded, so I will post a link to the recording on Blackboard. You can watch it on YouTube. You will see the code and everything. Okay, thank you very much, and see you next week.